Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another video. And today, I would like to share my thoughts on Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest Episode 3, which was another fantastic episode. And then towards the end of the video, I would like to share my thoughts on the English dub, which they dropped the first episode of the English dub on Sunday evening. So it looks like new episodes of the Japanese sub will go up Sunday morning, and then Sunday evenings, 2 episodes behind, you'll get the English dub if you want to watch both versions, which I'm going to do because I love the English dub of Fairy Tail. But let's talk about episode 3, which of course episode 2 ended with our heroes fighting against the Diablos guild, in particular Kiria and Mad Mole, and then Merkphobia, the water god dragon, appeared at the very end, and it appeared like he was going to be an adversary, but it turns out he's actually going to help our heroes. He actually lost his powers. They were absorbed by the white mage, which is later revealed to be Toka, the new member of the Fairy Tail Guild. So lots of interesting revelations early on in the series, of course. And then this episode, we get a lot of battles, a lot of one-on-one battles. Fan service like you couldn't imagine. I know I have to keep emphasizing that. And if you're familiar with Fairy Tail, you already know. But this episode in particular, I saw a bit of discourse online where people are getting filtered. I mean, you see Erza in her outfit. You saw them last week. They're underwater. We get multiple beach episodes in Fairy Tail, fighting in bikinis, underwater, and lots of crazy stuff going on with Erza and Kiria, that's for sure. So let's get right to it, going through some of the screenshots. This is the beginning where they see Merkphobia. And of course, Wendy is still in her jellyfish form. And she's like, oh, why can't I change back? But Merkphobia helps her later on. So we see Lucy. She, of course, you know, her regular bikini was ripped off by the fish. Then she was using Natsu's scarf. Natsu ripped it off her. Then she turned into Aquaria's star dress form into her bikini. And then Kiria, you know, destroyed that with her magic. So she turned into Virgo's star dress bikini form. So there you go. And of course, Merkphobia shows up. Looks like, oh, he's got this menacing look. He's going to be a bad guy. But it turns out he's actually friendly. And I remember when I first read the manga, because he has the blue hair, and I saw, you could see that as far as the manga, because they had the cover page was in color. So you saw the blue hair and the marking on his eye. At first, I thought he was going to be like a distant relative of Jalal, because he also has blue hair, a darker blue, and the same markings, but no, it's just a design Mashima likes, I suppose. And here's the fan service I'm talking about, guys. Right away we obviously get the booty shot of Lucy, but there's also the booty shot of Erza, so they're taking a look at that, and we end up going to his palace. He invites them there. Kiria and Mad Mole actually retreat with the help of Scullion, the third member of Diablos, who we meet later on in this episode. But yeah, the colors, I mentioned this last time, it's just a very colorful series. Here we are underwater. There's all these different environments because, you know, we have the water god dragon. Later on, there's the fire. There's, I think, the wood or the earth dragon, the moon dragon. There's all sorts of different elements and attributes to go there. And you see, this is underwater, right? But he has his own civilization going on, his farm where he's growing the crops so he can survive. And it's a beautiful thing. And there's Wendy. I think you can still sit. No, she's back in her human form. I had these a little out of order. So she's in her human form there. But yeah, she's still the jellyfish. And he uses his magic to turn her back to normal. So a cute little scene there. We eventually meet Caramel, which we saw Caramel and Merkphobia at the very end of episode 1. And I mentioned how similar she looks to the manga counterpart. And, you know, we never saw her in color. We never saw the color of her hair. It does make sense, of course, that her shirt here is blue. But just for comparison's sake, I mean, the details all done very well. You love to see it, right? So just some cute little scenes here where she sticks in her glasses. They always have the derpy faces in Fairy Tail. Yeah, I had one of the whole group here. They're making their derpy faces. Because I think this is when Merkphobia... Oh, you see I have a lot of tabs. This is where Merkphobia tells them that, you know, his powers were sealed away or whatever. And they're like, what do you mean? But Natsu... Okay, so one of the big villains of the original series, of course, was Acnologia, the black dragon of the apocalypse. But Natsu's also had relationships with other dragons, like Igneal, the dragon who raised him, Atlas Flame, who he called Uncle Atlas during the Grand Magic Games. So he's had a friendly relationship with dragons, and he's happy to know that Merkphobia isn't a bad guy, right? So, some more derpy faces. Got the cute cats with Carla and Happy, of course. And then it cuts over to the B-plot. Again, I mentioned Fairy Tail has a large cast of characters. So we have the A-plot, Team Natsu. And then the B-plot, we have Gajiel, Levi, Panther Lily, Juvia. And then there's also Jalal going his way, where they're trying to get more information on Toka, the mysterious white mage who joined Fairy Tail in episode 1. And then Gajiel and Juvia notice that she has a tail. Jalal's doing his own business, looking for her. He ran into Sabretooth last time. Now he's checking in on Blue Pegasus and Mermaid Heel. And he comes in contact with the legend himself, Ichiya. Which we get some fun stuff with Ichiya and Eve, Hibiki, and Ren, his associates. Ichiya's little dance. Watch Ichiya. Just look at him go. Look at Ichiya, the absolute legend. And then he's got his thing going with Jalal. Which, remember, at the very end of the series, Jalal and Erza were teaming up with Ichiya and Blue Pegasus on the Christina, on the airship versus Acnologia. Some badass scenes right there. So they have some history there. And then, of course, we get another cameo. I don't know. We probably don't see Bob ever again, but it's good to see Master Bob. And then, of course, Jetty, which she might show up again. But there's just so many characters in Fairy Tail. It's good to get a few cameos here and there. And it's been a while since we've seen Master Bob, of course. But yeah, there's Jetty, the supermodel. And then Jalal makes his way over to Mermaid Heel, where he confronts Kagura, and she's looking at the picture of Toka. The others, they didn't recognize Toka. Ichiya was saying, oh, a lovely lady like that, I never let her out of my sights. But Kagura's like, oh, I've seen her before. Didn't she just join Fairy Tail? And Jalal's like, uh-oh, I better get over there quick. So then it shows some more of the detectives here. Gajiel, Juvia, and Panther Lily looking for Toka. This is the scene where they find out that she actually lives across the way from Lucy's apartment. And he's being a peeping Tom, like looking in the window, trying to figure out what she's doing. And it just so happens she's changing. So Juvia's like, no, Gajiel, don't look. And Gajiel's like, well, I have to look. I got to figure out what's going on with that tail of hers. And then while all this is going on, of course, Levi walks by. You see right here, Juvia's behind him, covering his eyes. And then they fall down. And, oh no! It's not what it looks like, Levi! No! So eventually they follow Toka over here right outside Natsu and Happy's house. And she's like, oh, Natsu-sama! And Juvia has her crazy imagination where she sees... she puts together the fact that Toka lives across the way from Lucy. And they're both love rivals for Natsu. So, no, he's mine! Juvia just imagined the unthinkable. And I always love how Juvia speaks in the third person. Like, Juvia this, Juvia that. It's so cute. And here's another manga comparison, which, the one people were kind of nitpicking this, which, I don't know, it's not really a big deal. The outfits, right? This is, because Lucy changed her outfit a lot in the manga. And I noticed this. Lucy's changed to the different bathing suits and stuff, but for the regular outfits, I guess she's just had her default one on the whole time, so, I don't know. But it's still, you get the derpy faces and Natsu like, oh, where do I go? No, you gotta pick Lucy, Natsu, what are you doing? So after the B-plot there, we go back and, we're having a great time with Merkphobia, Caramel just chilling, and then Diablos shows up again, Mad Mole, Skullion, and Kiria. And then we get the introduction for Skullion, the corpse dragon, Skullion Raider. What a badass entrance. So they start fighting. They break up. We have Natsu faces off against Mad Mole, Gray versus Skullion. And then at first, it's Erza versus Kiria. But then later on, Lucy fights Kiria. And then Wendy versus Kiria. And then, it turns out Kiria actually wins. But you'll see in a minute here. So Natsu's fighting Mad Mole. I don't have a screenshot of the entire fight, but what happens is he can't really do any damage because Mad Mole is the armor dragon, and he punches him so hard that Natsu collides with their ship outside in the water, and because Natsu has motion sickness, he can't move, so poor Natsu. He's incapacitated. And then Skullion remarks how Gray has the ice devil magic. I always got confused with that because in the manga, they call it the ice devil magic. But then in other translations with the anime and stuff, they call it the ice demon magic. So I don't know. Is it devil or demon? Close enough. So, yeah, Erza fights Kiria, and you already know, man. They're both fighting. She's got her armor, and Erza's fighting in her bikini. So they start going to town. Kiria, she's crazy. And I do 3 episodes in. Kiria is so much better in the anime than she is in the manga. Like, her design, we looked at the comparison, just how she's drawn. She looks better in the anime. The voice actor for her is perfect. I can't wait to see who they cast as the English dub because they have huge shoes to fill, that's for sure. But just fantastic here. So you get an epic fight between the 2 hotties, Erza and Kiria. And, you know, she's saying some kinky shit here. Ooh, she's blushing. It gives me the chills. So what happens, because she's like the Blade Dragon Eater, or whatever her title was, she cuts the strength out of Erza, right? I know, this is fairy tale. We do all sorts of wacky shit here, and then eventually prevail up the power of friendship. But she cuts the strength out of Erza. This kind of reminded me of the fight in the Tartaros arc with Erza and Kyoka. For more reasons than one. But Erza no longer has strength, and she starts blushing herself and is like, oh, what am I doing wearing this outfit? It's so revealing. I can't fight anymore. Don't look at me. Like, Erza, what happened? The badass herself, she's afraid to fight. What are you doing, Erza? So she's begging for forgiveness. Don't fight. I can't do it. I can't do it. And what happens is Erza's on her knees. Kiria's looking over like, oh, I'm in charge now. And she puts her foot on Erza's head. And you probably already saw this because of the thumbnail. And goddamn, what's going on here? Look at that crazy face she's got. Erza's ass. Like, what is going on? And this is pretty much exactly how it was in the manga. I mean, maybe they, you know, cut a few corners here and there, but this is some crazy shit. And it's going to be even crazier the next episode. Just you wait. The stuff that Kiria is going to make Erza do. Oh, and then, so, since Erza's, you know, all submissive, can't fight anymore, the other girls try to fight. You have, you know, Lucy tries to fight, and then Wendy tries to fight, of course, because she's a dragon slayer herself. And then Wendy actually gets an attack in there, to which we have this scene where Kiria's talking about her big badonkadonks, of course, her mommy milkers, and mentions how Wendy has nothing, and Wendy's like, oh, come on! I mean, come on, what are we doing here? But yeah, so Wendy uses her dragon force to do, you know, her sky dragon roar. They start fighting, and Erza's still lying on the ground there, and it sort of ends there with the final scene being Jalal making his way to Fairy Tail and actually confronting Toka in the rain. So that's how the episode ends. And yeah, it was a great episode, man. I always love how Fairy Tail blends so many great things together. From, you know, the very beginning, we get the slice of life, comfy stuff, chilling with Merkphobia and Karamil, seeing what the civilization is like as the water god dragon, how he lives in his temple underwater with the other people. Then you get some fun stuff with Jalal, with Ichia and all of them. Then you get Gajal, Juvia doing fun stuff. And then you get, you know, what I'm here for. This crazy shit. So, I loved it, man. And I did see people online getting all offended, like, oh no, then don't fucking watch it. Get the hell out of here if you can't handle this. But anyway, the English dub, I did watch the English dub. I was really surprised to see that they announced this and actually dropped the first episode so soon. I guess, you know, some newer anime actually do the simulcast dubbing where they actually drop, you know, the sub and then the dub on that same day. But recently it seems that most series are maybe 3 or 4 episodes behind. In this case, Fairy Tail's only 2 episodes behind. So episode 3 subbed, episode 1 dubbed. Next week we'll have 4 and then 2. And of course, pretty much everyone returned. We had the main cast return, of course, which they advertised. Shirami Lei as Lucy, Todd Habercorn as Natsu, and Newton Pittman as Gray. And then they had this whole thing here where everyone returns, but I just went to Behind the Voice to see everyone. And yeah, they got everyone to return, reprise their roles. These are the new characters, which I have to say, Toka's voice actress, Celeste Perez, I never heard of her, but she did a pretty good job in the very first episode. And this guy, he did a good voice too, Aaron Campbell. So good to see that. But they got everyone to come back, man. They got R. Bruce Elliott, Jason Douglas, Patrick Seitz, Panther Lily and Levy, as far as I can tell, were the only two that were recast because both of the original voice actors retired. But they both did a decent job. This guy, Gabe Kunda, you might know him. He voices Leonidas from the Trail series. He has that very distinct voice. So, lots of good stuff. It's great to see everyone return. And again, there's so many characters in Fairy Tail, so, and you can see the others who haven't, officially announced the English dub reprisals, but I'm sure we'll get that very soon in episode 2 and 3. And I am especially looking forward to who is going to voice Kiria. Absolutely. And it'll be interesting to see how they handle Mad Mole and the in the English dub, because again, I talked about that last week, how I thought he was like a surfer bro, but it's just a real quick ch. So, great stuff, guys. Let me know what you thought in there we go, there. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below, and stay tuned next week for my thoughts on episode 4. So thanks, guys. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later. Peace out.
99.